Support for the Atlantic Council Global Citizen Awards is provided by CJ Group, Pfizer, and Titan America.
Good evening and welcome to the 2024 Atlantic Council Global Citizen Awards. We're coming to you from the legendary Ziegfeld Ballroom right here in the heart of New York City. Under these beautiful lights, we're here to celebrate some incredible people who have pushed boundaries, made a real impact, and inspired us all with their work and their vision. Every year, the Atlantic Council Global Citizen Awards, held alongside UN General Assembly Week in New York, highlights the Atlantic Council's growing global mission. It also shines a light on individuals who truly represent what it means to be a global citizen. This year, we're excited to honor an inspiring president from West Africa, a dynamic prime minister from Greece, Italy's first female prime minister, and a trailblazing entertainment icon from South Korea. And to cap off the night, we've got a show-stopping performance by legendary Korean hip-hop icons Tiger JK and Yoo Murray, and Japanese musician and composer Yoshiki. So let's get this unforgettable event started. We hope you enjoy the show.
Well, good evening, and welcome to the Atlantic Council Global Citizen Awards. And it's a pleasure to be with all of you here tonight. And each year, we gather during the United Nations General Assembly to underscore the Atlantic Council's mission to shape the global future together, and to galvanize our partners and our allies to meet the world's most consequential challenges and to promote freedom, opportunity, prosperity across all nations. In navigating the myriad of social and economic and political issues that define the pivotal moment in our history, it is vital that individuals of intellect and of experience and resolve guide our collective march towards a safer and a more secure world. And tonight, we recognize 4 individuals who've taken up the call to serve that purpose, greater than oneself, who are a shining example of the Atlantic Council's principles, and who together comprise this truly remarkable gathering for our Citizens Awards. We convene, however, at a crossroads for the Atlantic Council and the broader global community as we withstand an era of formidable geopolitical uncertainty. It is no hyperbole to say that establishing cooperative solutions to present-day conflicts and circumstances has seldom been more urgent. As NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said and reminded us when we were together in Washington at the 75th Anniversary Summit, security is not a matter for the regions, but a global one. Europe's security affects Asia, and Asia's security affects Europe. So it's not surprising then that one needs only a cursory understanding of global affairs to recognize the world is confronting historic and far-reaching trials. The ongoing impact of Russia's war in Ukraine, the resurgence of conflict in the Middle East, and the continued complex tensions in Asia, all happening amid technological shifts driven by artificial intelligence and other disruptive technologies. Nonetheless, in the face of such mounting economic and societal dislocation, we can be encouraged by the Council's formidable strength at a time when our work has never been more imperative. The outcome, however, is far from a foregone conclusion. we must maintain a rigorous focus on our expanded global mission to help U.S. leadership work in tandem with our longtime advocates, the experts, and the allies to respond strategically to destabilizing events that happen and advance the broader cause of democracy worldwide. By leveraging our influential resources, academic and functional expertise, the Atlantic Council will continue to facilitate the forums and the policy frameworks necessary to navigate a multifaceted political dynamics that permeate the 21st century. And this evening, the Atlantic Council recognizes a rare few who inspire us and the world to shine, to believe in something better and strive for something brighter and safeguard those ideals we hold sacrosanct. They represent the very best of our transatlantic partnership and serve as beacons, guiding us towards a highest aspiration. The son of the Gold Coast, he spent his childhood abroad, eventually returning to become a high school teacher and ultimately the 8th president of Ghana. Fleeing his country as a child, our next honoree, he found his way back home before finding success at Harvard and in a business career, and finally the Prime Minister of Greece. A young girl of determination, filled with youthful activism, she would become a Prime Minister of Italy by step, moving herself out of her condition and charting her own future. A Hollywood kid in Korea, her early passion for television and film would propel her cultural and artistic storytelling to a world stage and earn her an Academy Award. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the 2024 global citizens. And I now speak for all of us when I say that we are in awe of their accomplishments, inspired by their resolve, and humbled in their company. So now let's begin our program by turning your attention to the screens as we recognize our first honoree.
It is surely in the interest of the whole world that West Africa should be peaceful and prosperous.
President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has become a symbol of hope and progress for Ghana.
We want to develop our nation as a democracy, as a country where freedom and the respect for human rights and the rule of law are paramount to our system of governance.
With a clear vision, he tackles the challenges of our time and confronts historical injustices, ensuring that the past does not hinder Africa's future.
We cannot, and the world should not pretend that the present-day economic and social conditions of Africa have nothing to do with the historical injustices that have fashioned the structures of the world.
His focus on recovery and resilience has helped his country bounce back from a financial crisis.
The recovery program that we have is one that is considered very credible, and it is what is going to give us the opportunity to come out of this period a stronger economy.
His vision transcends borders, fostering strong partnerships and shared growth with partners and allies.
Our country has historically been one that has been outward-looking.
President Akufo-Addo is shaping a dynamic future for Ghana, one of industrial growth, educational empowerment, and prosperity.
We want to be a force to reckon with on the continent and in the world. We will develop, we will industrialize, we'll educate our people, and we will add value to our abundant natural resources.
Please welcome the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I have the great honor of introducing to you a leader who just doesn't talk about leadership. He shows it in action. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is affectionately known in Ghana as Addo Showboy. This nickname captures his deep cultural roots, and his reputation for decisive leadership. His surname, Addo, reflects a lineage of public service and leadership spanning generations. What about Showboy? It captures his deep roots. That's because his model leadership, time and again, demonstrates that true leadership is about action, not words. Born on the 29th March 1944 in Kebbi in eastern region of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo comes from a family known for its enduring commitment to public service. His father, Edward Akufo-Addo, was one of the Big Six, the founding fathers of Ghana who fought for the nation's independence. This spirit of duty to serve runs through his veins, and from an early age, he embraced the belief that true leadership is about making a difference in people's lives. I deeply admire my brother and friend, President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, for his courage and determination in steering Ghana through economic and political challenges, laying the groundwork for its transformation. Ask any Ghanaian, and they will speak proudly of the free senior high school policy, which has transformed lives by making education accessible to all. President Akufo-Addo's vision of Ghana beyond aid has inspired not just Ghanaians, but Africans across the continent to pursue self-reliance and take control of their destinies. His leadership is revered throughout Africa, especially with bold moves like the abolition of visa and visa requirements for Africans by the end of 2024, underscoring his belief in unity. I share with President Akufo-Addo a strong commitment to the African Union's Agenda 2063 and the potential for African Continental Free Trade Area to drive African growth. His leadership, whether through transforming agriculture with planting for food and jobs, or industrializing Ghana through the One District, One Factory initiative, remains focused on advancing his people. As a famous African proverb says, if the cat wants to dance, it doesn't wait for the drums to be beaten. Addo Showboy never waits for the perfect moment. He takes initiatives and leads from the front. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Addo Showboy, the President of the Republic of Ghana, a veritable champion of global citizenship. Let's give him a warm welcome.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply moved and profoundly grateful to receive this Atlantic Council Global Citizen Award. This moment cannot just be about me. It is about the people of Ghana who inspire me with their resilience, their strength, and unwavering belief in a brighter future. They are the true global citizens, and I accept this award on their behalf. Being in the company of such accomplished individuals, Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis of Greece, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni of Italy, and media pioneer Miky Lee of Korea humbles me. I'm particularly honored that my good friend, President William Ruto of Kenya, has presented me for this award. He represents the new generation of African leadership that holds such promise for our continent. This recognition reminds me that as President of Ghana, my leadership has been deeply shaped by the principles of unity, democracy, and a shared global responsibility. In today's interconnected world, no nation can stand alone. Our future as Ghanaians, as Africans, and as members of a global family depends on our ability to work together and lift each other up. Throughout my presidency, I've seen firsthand the power of collaboration. We've faced challenges, yes, but we have also achieved significant progress, from strengthening our democratic institutions to expanding opportunities for our citizens. But none of this would have been possible without the support and collective effort of the Ghanaian people, who wake up every day and give their best for their families, their communities, and their nation. Receiving this award is not a conclusion. It is a call to action. It is a reminder that the work of building a more just and equitable world is far from over. The challenges we face, whether it is climate change, political stability, widening inequality, or terrorism, are global in nature, and they require global solutions. I'm proud of the partnership between Ghana and the United States of America, which has been built on mutual respect, shared values, and a commitment to democratic principles. Together, we have made real progress in advancing human rights and the rule of law. But there's still so much more we can do and achieve as long as we remain united, especially at this time when terrorism and violent extremism are threatening to submerge West Africa and indeed the rest of the world in darkness and tyranny. As I near the end of my time as president, I do so with a full heart, knowing that I've given my all to serve my people and my nation. But my commitment to the ideals of democracy, justice, and global citizenship will not end when I leave office. I will continue to advocate for these values because they are the key to a future where every person has a chance to thrive, regardless of where they are born. I believe all of this is best summed up by the greatest of English metaphysical poets of the 17th century, John Donne, when he made the famous pronouncement, "No man is an island entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main." To the Atlantic Council, thank you for this honor. To my fellow honorees, I extend my warmest congratulations and respect. And to everyone here tonight, let us leave this room with a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that when we work together, we can create a brighter world for all. I thank you for your attention.
We spoke to the president of Ghana at the co-chair dinner for this year's awards. Let's play that interview. Thank you so much for being here.
Wow, it's very exciting for me. Thank you.
You're preparing to leave office in 2025. How does this recognition help further cement your legacy?
Oh, a lot. I mean, it's always an important event to be recognized for your work. It's humbling, but it is also very encouraging that if you put your mind to something and do it reasonably well, there are others who are taking notice. And I think that that is something very encouraging for me and for others who are looking on.
And as you prepare for this transition, how can Ghana serve as a model to other nations in achieving a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, that's the first thing, that we make sure that the election that we're going to have in December is itself peaceful, that it's fair, it's transparent, so that the result is not a contested one, that the country comes behind the winner, and in that process assure that we have a peaceful transition. We've done it 3 or 4 times in the last 30 years, and we want to make sure that that tradition is maintained. Ghana is a sort of, well, it's perhaps immodest to say it, but it's a sort of beacon of democracy on the African continent. And as much as possible, we want to maintain that reputation.
And how has the U.S.'s engagement in Africa improved under your presidency, and what are your hopes for the next administration?
American engagement in Ghana has improved in quality as well as in the amount of support that has been giving our country. But more importantly, there's now a clear understanding of how American policy will work in favor, not of America, but also those of us in Africa. And I think that's a big a quantum leap in the relationship that we have with America now. It's been very supportive of Ghanaian democracy, and hopefully it will continue to be so in the future.
President Akufo-Addo, thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Please welcome Atlantic Council President and CEO, Frederick Kemp.
Thank you, Mr. President, for what you yourself called a call to action. It was an honor to visit you a short while ago to speak to you about taking this award in Accra, in your office, where I visited with the Senior Director of our Africa Center, Ambassador Amayad. We were moved by your passion. We were moved by your passion for Africa, for your country, and for democracy. Politico this morning called our dinner the hottest ticket in town. I wouldn't comment on media reports, that would not be my role. But we don't mind the sizzle, but sizzle means nothing without substance. With apologies to Alexander Hamilton, this is a room where it happens. Mostly seen, but some things unseen. I'm going to talk about one of those. Last year in our front row, Almar Latour, who is here with us again this evening, the Dow Jones CEO and Wall Street Journal publisher, and an Atlantic Council board member and a dear friend, sat with the parents of Evan Gershkovich, who at that time languished in a Russian prison without any hope at that point of release. That was the seen part. Unseen was that the parents met here privately with German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, one of our honorees, a meeting brokered by me and Almar, parents invited in the hopes that there could be such a meeting. And he and they then played what Almar tells me was a pivotal role in achieving Evan's release on October 1st, 2024, in one of the most complicated prisoner exchanges ever, involving several governments, involving trips by Almar and the Dow Jones leadership to Davos, to Germany, to the White House for frequent meetings, the State Department for frequent meetings. Evan sent me a note today, Evan Gershkovich sent me a note today that he wanted me to read to you. It says, in part, quote, "My parents were in the room with you last year and it meant a lot to them and to me. It will take some time to fully know everything that happened while I was away, but I know a number of you in this room tonight worked on my behalf, and for that I am grateful." So, Almar, as a CEO, you've produced an enormous bottom line success. But through it all, you didn't forget. In fact, you took enormous time to save this one reporter whose well-being and perhaps life were threatened. So thank you, Almar, and most of all, thank you, Evan. And now turn your attention to the screens as we honor the Italian Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni.
We are ready to launch a new season of stability, freedom, and prosperity for Italy.
As the first female president of the Council of Ministers of the Italian Republic, Giorgia Meloni is an unwavering force on the global stage.
This place is the symbol of Moscow failure. This place is the symbol of Ukrainian pride.
Her leadership extends beyond Italy, championing democracy and justice around the world.
We have to recognize the right of Israel to be safe and the right of Palestinians to have their own state to live in a peaceful way, and it is exactly what we are doing.
In turbulent times, Meloni stands firm, defending the rule of law and the transatlantic alliance.
For without a world based on the international law, we would live in a world of chaos in which whose military stronger things can invade his neighbor. That's not the world we want to live in. We want to live in a world in which we can respect sovereignty and freedom.
Giorgia Meloni is a leader of our times, guiding the future with strength and conviction.
There is someone sitting in the shade today because someone else planted a tree long ago.
Please welcome Chief Engineer of SpaceX and CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk.
Well, it's an honor to be here and to introduce, I guess, and convey the award to someone who is even more beautiful on the inside than she is on the outside. Giorgia Meloni is someone that I admire, that has done an incredible job as the Prime Minister of Italy. Italy is experiencing record economic growth, record low unemployment. It's great. And she's also someone who is authentic, honest, truthful, and that can't always be said about politicians. And now it's my pleasure to invite to the stage the President of the Council of Ministers, Her Excellency Giorgia Meloni.
Thank you for having me. My deepest gratitude goes to Chairman John Rogers, President Frederick Kemp, the entire Atlantic Council for this distinguished recognition I am very proud of. And I thank Elon for the beautiful words that he had for me and for his precious genius for the era in which we live. I have put a lot of thought into how to present tonight's speech. Initially, I thought of emphasizing the pride I still feel as the first woman to serve as Prime Minister in a nation as extraordinary as Italy, or about the effort the Italian government is doing to reform its country to make it once again a protagonist of the geopolitical chessboard. I could have talked about the inseparable bond that unites Italy and the United States, regardless of the political beliefs of the respective governments, a bond witnessed here by the many friends of Italian origin, representatives of a community that for generations has contributed to making America stronger. Or I could have talked about foreign policy in a time dominated by chaos in which Italy stands firmly alongside those who defend their freedom and sovereignty, not only not only for it is right to do so, but also because it is in the interest of Italy and the West to prevent a future in which the law of the strongest prevails. As politicians, as a politician, you basically have two options: being a leader or a follower, to point a curse or not, to act for the good of your people or to act only driven by polls. Well, my ambition is to lead and not to follow. Yeah. Tonight, in any case, I want to offer you a different perspective. Let me start by mentioning an op-ed recently published in the European edition of Politico. This analysis was focused on Meloni's Western nationalism. The author, which is called Dr. Constantini, argues that my political belief is in what might be called Western nationalism, a thought which at its heart embodies the survival and renaissance of Western civilization, which according to Constantini is new to the European scene. I don't know if nationalism is the correct word, because it often recalls doctrines of aggression or authoritarianism. However, I know that we should not be ashamed to use and defend words and concepts like nation and patriotism, because they mean more than a physical place. They mean a state of mind to which one belongs in sharing culture, traditions, values. When we see our flag, if we feel proud, it means that we feel the pride to be part of a community and that we are ready to do our part to make its fate better. Well, for me, the West is more than a physical place. By the word West, we do not simply define countries by specific geographical location, but as a civilization built over the centuries with the genius and sacrifices of many. The West is a system of values in which the person is central, men and women are equal and free, and therefore the systems are democratic. Life is sacred, the state is secular, and based on the rule of law. I ask and wonder to myself and to you, are these values of which we should be ashamed of? And are these values, and do these values drive us away from the others, or they bring us closer to the others? As West, I think we have two risks to counter. The first is what one of the greatest contemporary European philosophers, Roger Scruton, called oikophobia, from the Greek words oikos, which means home, and phobia, which means fear. Kyriakos, this is my personal tribute to your award tonight, okay? Sorry for being so serious, but I want to share with you this thought I have. Oikophobia is the aversion to one's home, a mounting contempt, which leads us to want to violently erase the symbols of our civilizations in the US as in Europe. The second risk is the paradox that while on the one hand, the West looks down on itself, on the other hand, often claims to be superior to the others. The result is that the West is in danger of becoming a less credible interlocutor. The so-called Global South is demanding more influence. Developing nations that are by now largely established there are autonomously collaborating among themselves. Autocracies are gaining ground on democracies, and we risk looking more and more like a closed and self-referential fortress. In Italy, to reverse this course, we decided to launch, for example, the Mattei Plan for Africa, a model of cooperation based on equal footing to build a new long-term partnership with African countries. For yes, crises are multiplying in the world, but every crisis hides also an opportunity. For it requires to question oneself and to act. Above all, we need to recover awareness of who we are. As Western peoples, we have a duty to keep this promise and seek the answer to the problems of the future by having faith in our values. A synthesis born out of the meeting of Greek philosophy, Kyriakos, Roman law, Christian humanism. In short, as my English professor, Michael Jackson, used to say, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. And no message could have been, and we know it, we know the song, guys. We have to start with ourselves, to know who we really are, and to respect that, so that we can understand and respect others as well. There is a narrative that authoritarian regimes care so much. It is about the idea of the inevitable decline of the West, the idea that democracies are failing to deliver. An army of foreign and malign trolls and bots is engaged in manipulating reality and exploiting our contradictions. But to the authoritarian funds, let me say very clearly that we will stand for our values. We will do that. President Reagan once said, above all, we must realize that no arsenal or no weapon in the arsenal of the world is so formidable as the will and the moral courage of free men and women. It is a weapon our adversaries in today's world do not have. I couldn't agree more. Our freedom and our values and the pride we feel for them are the weapons our adversaries fear the most. So we can't give up the strength of our own identity, for that would be the best gift we can make to authoritarian regimes. So at the end of the day, patriotism is the best response to declinism. Defending our deep roots is the precondition for reaping ripe fruit. Learning from our past mistakes is the precondition for being better in the future. I will also use the words of Giuseppe Prezzolini, perhaps the greatest conservative intellectual in the 20th century in Italy. He who knows how to conserve is not afraid of the future because he has learned the lessons of the past. We know how to face the impossible challenges that this era confronts us only when we learn from the lessons of the past. We defend Ukraine, for we have known the chaos of a world in which the law of the strongest prevails. We fight human traffickers because we remember that centuries ago we fought to abolish slavery. We defend nature and humankind because we know that without the responsible work of humans, it is not possible to build a more sustainable future. As we develop artificial intelligence, Elon, we attempt to govern its risk because we fought to be free, and we do not intend to trade our freedom in exchange for greater comfort. We know how to read these phenomena because our civilization has given us the tools. the time we live in requires us to choose what we want to be and what path we want to take. We can continue to fool the idea of the decline of the West. We can surrender to the idea that our civilization has nothing more to say or no more routes to chart. Or we can remember who we are, learn also from our mistakes, add our own piece of the story in this extraordinary walk, and govern what happens around us to leave our children a better world, which is exactly my choice. And I like to think that the reason why you have chosen me for this precious award is that you share this choice. Thank you.
Gentlemen, as a tribute to our two honorees, it's with great pleasure that we introduce a remarkable talent to the stage this evening. A mezzo-soprano whose voice transcends the ordinary and reaches the very depths of the human experience. And hailing from very vibrant background, enriched by very diverse musical influence, Tisia Kwarteng is not only a celebrated vocalist, but also a passionate advocate for the musical arts. She made her Metropolitan Opera debut in 2022. And tonight, we will experience her exceptional range and emotive artistry as she effortlessly navigates tonight's aria. So enjoy the magic of Tisia. Her voice is extraordinary, and together with the indomitable Luke Frazier and the American Pops Orchestra, we salute our two honorees.
Piacevo dirtegno, io ti
Coming up later in the show, we've got a special performance from Korean hip-hop artists Tiger JK and Yu Murray. I had a chance to talk to them backstage about their performance, and here's what they had to say.
Tremendous honor. I didn't believe it, when we were called and invited to perform here, because we usually body slam and mosh pit and all that, so it's an honor because the message is beautiful.
What should people take away from your performance?
It's love, peace and love. So it's a music that's connecting us, bridging the gap. Because back in the day, Miky Lee and us, we talked about this vision, cultural bridge, to
bring us together.
But they were laughing at us. One day we will connect the world with Korean music, Korean language. It was unheard of. But now people are responding. They're getting up. The song they heard for the first time.
So what should people know about Korean hip hop?
Just that it's awesome. I think a lot of people, not to take the shine away from, your Psy and Gangnam Style or the other K-pop bands that a lot of people are probably used to. There's just so many more genres and so many different artists with different styles, different colors, that I don't think get enough spotlight. So if all you gotta do is just go in to the playlist, and I promise you will get into that little rabbit hole, and you will find a bunch of dope hip hop artists, a bunch of dope rock and roll, a bunch of punk, we have all different genres and so many different dope artists out there. And we're not just in this little box of just K-pop, little small groups or Gangnam Style.
Tasha, A.K. Yu Murray, Pam Moktong, Korean Hilltong, half Korean, half black. She started hip hop. She's the queen. She's the originator in Korea, and she hates it when I, tell the truth. But
That's not true. He actually started it. You can't talk about hip hop unless you talk about Tiger JK. So.
Good evening, and dear friends of the Atlantic Council. I'm supposed to speak about leadership and how it has changed. The qualities of leadership have changed since the time I was a honoree. But let me first define what leadership is. I have seen probably most of the global leaders during the last 50 years. And for me, leadership boils down to a very simple metaphor. Leadership means soul, brain, heart, muscles, and nerves. You will ask, what does it mean? The soul stands for purpose, the brain for professionalism, the heart for passion, the muscles for the capability to translate the vision into action, and the nerves for resilience. Now, what has changed? Leadership certainly has become more challenging. If we look at the purpose, today, in a world which is in disarray, leaders have to lead with a purpose. And the purpose should be optimistic, because we are in a fearful world. And actually, the future is not happening. The future is constructed by the leaders here in the room. If I look now at the brain, professionalism, what has changed? What we needed in the past was very deep, vertical knowledge. Today, we have to have systems knowledge. So it's horizontal and not anymore so vertical. If you look at the heart, passion is not enough. Today, we need co-passion. We have to integrate those who follow our leadership into our passion. And in order to do so, we have to show compassion. Now, if I look at muscles, the capability to translate into action, that's not enough anymore. We have to translate into impact. And the impact is not just economic or political results. It's how we serve the world. That's the most noble of all of our tasks. And finally, if I look at the nerves, resilience, the world has become much more complex, much more uncertain. We need more resilience, but we need also resilience because we certainly will make mistakes and we will have to confront crisis. So we have to learn. Leadership is a lifelong learning process. I wish you an evening and a future with a lot of soul, brain, heart, muscles, and nerves. Thank you.
Klaus, thank you for your years of friendship, but you're also your years of inspiration for the Atlantic Council and many of us who are working to shape a global better future. Since we convened this dinner in 2023, so that was just 1 year ago, much about the global order has changed, just to give a feeling of how quickly this story is moving. It was only days after we convened last year that Hamas launched an unprecedented attack on Israel on October 7th, and a terrible war continues and threatens to escalate. Ukraine has continued its resistance against Moscow's 2-year war against the country, and now has taken Russian territory in its self-defense efforts. As you know, we're an organization that has been standing by Ukraine for a long time because we know it's the front line in the battle for freedom. So thank you so much for everything you've done for us in that respect. Many of you in this room will recall President Zelensky's impassioned speech last year as we gave him our Global Citizen Award, when he dedicated his award to the children, soldiers, teachers, and doctors of Ukraine. What's also unfolded since last year is the rapidly increasing collaboration among China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea. Without that, the Ukrainian war could not be sustained. It is one of increasing closeness in defense industrial terms, closer than Germany, Italy, and Japan ever were in the 1930s, closer than Khrushchev and Mao Zedong were in the 1950s. And that's the landscape we have this year, and it's growing ever closer. And we face wars in Europe and the Middle East and growing tension as well with China that require us to double down on the Atlantic Council's mission of shaping the global future together. And this doesn't even touch the challenges of the global south or the challenges of the contest for the commanding heights of technology, particularly artificial intelligence. What we know from history is that such periods don't resolve themselves. In 1941, it resolved itself by the United States getting involved in the war. In 1962, it resolved itself by a near miss in nuclear conflict with the Cuban Missile Crisis. Earlier this month, CIA Director Bill Burns, a former board member of the Atlantic Council, and MI6 Chief Richard Moore wrote something and met together publicly. It was unprecedented. They said the following, quote, "There is no question that the international world order, the balanced system that has led to relative peace and stability, is under threat in a way we haven't seen since the Cold War." The Atlantic Council was created to defend that order, and we've never been more challenged. Our nonpartisan, values-driven, and results-oriented mission, now in the Atlantic Council's 63rd year, is more crucial and urgent than ever. And I think from our first two speakers, you really heard that very strongly. It's been 35 years since the Berlin Wall came down, followed by Soviet collapse, Cold War victory without a shot being fired, and a historic expansion of freedom of democracy. The stakes are no less than defending those gains and building upon them, or suffering a global reversal. The stakes are no less than that. That's the context of the gathering this evening. We're all participants in this exciting and challenging period. We confront one of the most perilous, but also one of the promising years and periods of our lifetimes. But please, everyone in this room, we are not bystanders. This is a lovely dinner. It's great to have you all here, but we're not bystanders. We're actors in shaping the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the screens for the next portion of our program as we salute His Excellency Kyriakos Mitsotakis, Prime Minister of the Hellenic Republic.
Greece is back, and a promising future lies ahead of us.
Greece gave birth to democracy more than 2,000 years ago. As Prime Minister of the Hellenic Republic, Kyriakos Mitsotakis is committed to strengthening democracy for centuries to come.
Reinventing democracy to fit the challenges of the 21st century may sound like a tall order, but this is the mission of our generation, and I'm certain we will accomplish it.
Shaping Greece's path as a vibrant and optimistic nation, ready to meet the challenges of a changing world.
There is future beyond populism, and we've proven that if you run a competent government, you can actually make it possible to get re-elected.
He has stood firm, emphasizing the vitality of NATO and the transatlantic partnership.
Being part of an alliance that is strong, defensive, and capable of defending us all against external threats is as important as it has ever been.
And establishing himself as an advocate for global peace and stability.
Anyone who thinks that the international order can be challenged by force gets his way, then this creates a very, very dangerous precedent.
Together with partners and allies, Mitsotakis continues to strengthen the bonds that unite us and ensure a brighter future.
The challenges and threats ahead for all of us are so complex that no country alone could effectively address them. Cooperation between us all is essential, and cooperation continues to define our alliance.
Please welcome Chairman and CEO of Pfizer, Dr. Albert Bourla.
Good evening, everyone, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, and distinguished guests. It's an honor to be with you tonight. I would like to start by thanking Fred and John and the Atlantic Council. Your tireless work, your leadership are vitally important in a time of rising geopolitical tension and conflict, and devastating humanitarian crises are intensifying and polarization. I will also like to offer my congratulations to those being honored tonight. His Excellency President Akufo-Addo, His Excellency, of course, Prime Minister Mitsotakis, Her Excellency Prime Minister Meloni, and the wonderful Miky Lee. But now, I've been eagerly anticipating the next moment. I'm delighted by the privilege of introducing Prime Minister Mitsotakis as he receives the Council's highest honor for global citizens. Prime Minister Mitsotakis is a devoted leader of my home country of Greece, a rising voice for peace and equity around the world, and a visionary champion of a new era of economic prosperity, powered by technology and innovation. The Prime Minister has entered and has earned the trust and confidence of the Greek people. In 2023, re-election saw his growing support, a remarkable achievement when powerful waves of populism are buffeting many other incumbent leaders around the world. The Prime Minister is a humble leader and has said his re-election is simply a reflection of running a competent government and delivering on the promise he made. I would say that tells only part of the story. When I spend time in Greece, and I go very often, I sense a renewed energy, greater optimism and hope for economic growth. This is a dramatic turnaround from the decade of crisis following the global recession when the Greek economy shrunk and unemployment soared. Many of the country's best and brightest minds left for opportunities elsewhere, and outside investment withered. Thankfully, this is improving under the Prime Minister's leadership, and others are taking notice. The Economist called Greece as the country of the year in 2023. Prime Minister Mitsotakis guided this tremendous comeback by empowering the forces of entrepreneurship and innovation. At the same time, he's also focused on income inequality and helping those in greatest need. He's driven important changes in education and health, as well as progressive advances in diversity and inclusion, reflecting a change in society. The impact of his leadership also extends far beyond the nation's borders. He's a champion for European solidarity and a steadfast partner of the West. As US Ambassador Giorgia said recently, in a region that is desperately seeking stability, Greece is the important partner because it does not operate by surprise, but on the basis of principles and values. The Prime Minister is willing to take bold stands and has become a distinctive voice for peace. He has rallied support for Ukraine, and as he has called for a resolution that is both lasting and fair. Earlier this year, he traveled to Ukraine. Prime Minister Mitsotakis has earned the respect of leaders around the world for being a partner committing to working together. Myself, I'm a proud graduate of the Aristotle University of Greece, and I thought I would end my speech with a quote of Aristotle. Aristotle said 2,300 years ago, "You will never do anything in this world without courage. It is the greatest quality of mind next to honor." Kyriakos, your achievements and impact as a global leader are a testament to your knowledge, integrity, honor, but especially your courage. I admire your courage to stand up for what's right, your courage to take risks, your courage to dream and inspire others with your vision. And at the same time, you are a devoted father, a devoted husband, and you are proudly contributing to your family's extensive legacy of public service. I'm sure your father and mother are watching you from upstairs right now, and they feel extremely proud for their son. It's an honor to honor you And thank you for all you are doing as you lead the way to a better future in Greece and around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Prime Minister Mitsotakis to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, dear Albert, thank you for your extremely flattering words, and my deepest thanks to the Atlantic Council for honoring me as a global citizen. But I would like to start by echoing the words of the President of Ghana, and by saying that I really feel that this award belongs most of all to the people of Greece, for their resilience and their perseverance, and for what they have achieved over the past years. I think Albert was right in describing the transformation of a country that was perceived some years ago as the sick man of Europe, that suffered a profound economic depression, that went through social upheaval, that experimented with populism, but that now has convincingly turned the corner and is becoming again a stable democracy with a growing economy. And I thought in my brief remarks I would share some thoughts with you about why I think the Greek story may be relevant to countries outside Greece, and why what we have achieved may resonate beyond our borders. And I think this is not just for geopolitical reasons, because it is important that Greece now is a stable and predictable ally to the United States and an overall pillar of stability in a very turbulent part of this world. But I think the Greek story also teaches us some other lessons which I think are important for democracies across the world as we struggle with the tides of populism and with the new divisions that tend to rip our societies apart. I think what we have achieved in Greece is to demonstrate that one can actually govern from the political center, that one can be pro-growth but also fiscally disciplined, that one can be, and let me resonate here the words of my good friend Giorgia Meloni, one can be a true patriot by being very much focused on strong defense and at the same time protecting our borders. But one can also be socially liberal, focused on delivering high quality public goods, but also reducing inequalities. And this, what I call this new triangulation, actually has the ability to bring together people from different ideological origins and to create a broader coalition that restores fundamental trust in politics. My government has focused more on policy than politics. And I think in general, in these eras where sometimes we place more emphasis on pure ideology than we should deliver, that the keys to success of every government at the end of the day is effective delivery. And not all issues are ideological. And I think it is our responsibility as leaders to look for effective solutions where we can find them, and eventually we will be judged by how much we improve people's lives. We will not be judged simply by how eloquent we are in terms of our public speaking. That is not the yardstick by which you measure the political success of a leader today. And finally, I would like to point out that it is critical, again, in this era of intense polarization, when we are fighting off populists who believe that they have a simple solution to complicated problems, to acknowledge the simple fact that these types of populists are actually driven by real grievances. The grievances of the people who actually vote for the populists are very much real, whether they're related to income inequality, whether they're related to issues of identity, whether they're related to the consequences of globalization with the winners and the losers it produces. These are real grievances, and we need to be very careful to address them, and certainly not appear condescending to the concerns of the average people. So let me just conclude by quoting a European leader whom I deeply respect. The previous president of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, said something which struck me before I even became Prime Minister. He said that once we get elected, we all know what to do. We just don't know how to get re-elected if we do what we have to do. Well, if there's one lesson from the Greek story, is that my dear friend was wrong. We got re-elected by doing exactly what was right, and the Greek people rewarded us for us. So thank you again very much to the Atlantic Council for this award, which again belongs to the people of Greece. Thank you very much.
We also spoke to the Prime Minister of Greece at the co-chair dinner. Let's take a look. Thank you so much for being here, Prime Minister.
Well, thank you, it's an honor.
What does it mean for you to receive this type of recognition?
Well, I think it's a very important recognition of the progress that Greece has made over the past 5 years, which I think is significant. I mean, we worked very hard to turn the country around, and it is important to change the public perception of Greece, which frankly, after a decade of going through a very tough economic crisis, was in need of a significant rebranding. So I'm happy that this work is being recognized by such a prestigious organization such as the Atlantic Council.
And turning to the upcoming elections here in the United States, how have you seen the U.S. and Greece's relationship evolve, and what are your hopes for the next administration?
Well, first of all, let me point out that the U.S.-Greece relationship is going from strength to strength. I think the partnership has never been as solid as it is today. And regardless of who will occupy the White House after the next elections, this is a decision for the American people to make. I do believe that the foundations of the relationship are incredibly strong, so I don't think that it will be affected by who is occupying the White House. Plus, as a Prime Minister now, entering my 6th year, I've had the privilege of working both with a Republican and a Democrat president, so I'm confident that we will be able to work with whoever the American people choose to lead them for the next 4 years.
And I would like to pivot to the war in Ukraine. Tell me, how has Greece been impacted by the war, and what do you think the end game of the war should be?
Greece, from the very beginning, has been a steadfast supporter of Ukraine's fight to defend itself. And I'm very happy that in these difficult times we were able to remain completely unified and united as a European Union. We've provided significant support to Ukraine, and we will continue to do so to allow Ukraine, at some point, to negotiate a peace on its own terms. We've been very, very clear from the beginning that Ukraine's capitulation could never result into a just peace settlement, and that is why we, I'm not just speaking as a Greek here, but as a European, will continue to materially support Ukraine for as long as it takes.
Thank you so much, Prime Minister.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Hi, everybody.
Miky Lee has been a trailblazer, leading a cultural revolution that has captivated the world from film to music and beyond.
I am grateful to have been the bridge between many talented people and their dreams.
She's the driving force behind K-pop's global success, propelling Korean artists and creators to unprecedented heights. Under her visionary leadership at CJ Group, she has founded the hugely successful KCON, a multi-city global convention promoting Korean pop music and culture.
We all stand as equal members of a global community of artists. Being Asian is an identity that 60% of the world claims. We are not a minority.
Through the power of cinema, she has shattered barriers with films like the Oscar-winning Parasite.
Parasite. Keep pushing. The directors, the creators, keep pushing the envelopes.
Her relentless pursuit of cultural representation has not only transformed the entertainment industry, but has also reshaped the world's social landscape.
I always want to say to people, here is the bridge I have built. Use it, walk over me, and reach the other side.
It's really an honor to be here tonight as we celebrate the one and only and incredible Miky Lee. Years ago, someone said to me, "Shari, you should really meet Miky." They didn't elaborate, but minutes into our first lunch, I understood why. Miky embodies the qualities I admire most in friends and business partners: unshakable integrity, a passion for great stories, and a deep commitment to family. She understands that first and foremost, it all begins with relationships. And from that time we first met, I knew I wanted to be in business with Miky, and in a big way. Miky is a champion of creativity. Her company, CJ Group, isn't just a leader in the modern Korean entertainment industry. It practically invented it and is responsible for the industry's tremendous success and viewership around the world. Miky's grandfather used to say, "No culture, no country." And as some of you may know, my father coined the phrase, "Content is king." Miky's career is a testament to both. Under her leadership, CJ Group has become a cultural juggernaut, spanning movies, TV, music, and more. For decades, Miky has been Korea's cultural ambassador to the world, shrewdly but quietly exporting the richness of Korean media. And then, as you just saw, in 2020, when her film Parasite took home the Oscar for Best Picture, Hollywood finally caught up to what Miky had known all along. Korean culture is a force to be reckoned with. And I am proud to say that Paramount and CJ have been global strategic partners since 2021, including producing movies and a slate of K-drama series. And by the way, thanks to Miky, I am truly addicted to K-drama. And it all began with Crash Landing on You. So let me just say, when you go home tonight, if you haven't seen it, and frankly, if you want to see it again, download it, watch it, and be prepared to binge the whole thing and be late for work tomorrow. Of course, Miky is more than an accomplished businesswoman and media pioneer. She is also a great friend. At a recent birthday celebration she threw for me last year, Miky presented me with a book titled K-Culture, K-pop, cuisine, on-screen, and more. It was ostensibly for my upcoming trip to Korea this spring. But as I leafed through the pages, I had an epiphany. I don't need a book to understand K-culture. I have Miky. In our industry, people often talk about what they do. But with Miky, it is about who she is. She is a connector, an innovator, a friend. She's the one who can discuss the intricacies of a film script 1 minute in the latest K-pop choreography the next. She's the person who sends you a care package of Korean skincare products just because it's Tuesday. She is a cultural ambassador, a bridge builder, and a storyteller extraordinaire. She makes the world a little smaller, a little kinder, and a whole lot more entertaining. Sometimes even much better moisturized. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great, great pleasure to invite to the stage my friend and colleague and a true citizen of the world who is making the world better and infinitely more interesting every single day. Please join me in welcoming the recipient of the Atlantic Council's Global Citizen Award, Miky Lee.
Honored guests, distinguished leaders, friends, and fellow global citizens, I stand here today with deep gratitude and humility as I receive this meaningful award. My heartfelt thanks to my dear friend, mentor, Sherry Redstone. Sherry, I love you. To the Council for this honor and for the tireless work done by everyone in this room to foster understanding, cooperation, and peace in a world so desperate for positive connection. The connection that gives meaning to our existence. In 1953, after the end of the Korean War, our country had been destroyed. We had no infrastructure for the economy, industry, education, or society, nothing. We started rebuilding with the help of the US, the UN, the World Food Program, and UNICEF. After the war, my grandfather, the founder of CJ and Samsung, established the companies that would contribute to the basic infrastructure of our new country. As he was doing this, he always said, "No culture, no country." Culture is like oxygen. It's there in the background and easy to take for granted, but you can't survive without it. Up until the late 90s, Korea was heavily influenced by Western content and culture. CJ had been primarily a food company, but my brother and I were saying, hey, we've been entertaining people's mouths. We should start to entertain people's eyes and ears too. That's when we invested in DreamWorks, thinking that we could learn from the best, Steven Spielberg, Jeffrey Katzenberg, and David Geffen, to create our own content industry in Korea. As Korea's development progressed, the youth started making their own music, stories, and fashion, curating and defining a whole new lifestyle. We were at the right place and the right time to build a platform for these new creators to succeed. Unlike any other business, the content business is making the intangible tangible, which means creation and platform must work hand in hand. Hollywood was the only place that was making it happen with their own financial system, so-called studio economics. Along the way, there were many ups and downs, And we couldn't have succeeded without my brother Jay, the chairman of CJ Group. In the most difficult moments, his support never wavered. Over the years, we have witnessed how entertainment can be a bridge. Films like Parasite have started important conversation about inequality, not just in Korea, but everywhere. From our K-pop to our K-dramas, we have shown that cultural boundaries can be blurred and that joy, laughter, and love are universal. But it's not just about the content we make. It's about the connections we create. Entertainment gives us a space where people from different backgrounds can come together and share something beautiful. Entertainment may not have the power to end wars, but it does have the power to build bridges. Bridges of compassion, hope, and empathy. We are continuing to create the platforms that embrace the youth culture. In our business, the key is identifying what young generations are doing and what they want and how they see the world. Provide a platform where they can create, collaborate, express themselves, and fulfill their dreams. There are so many young people who are passionate about singing, dancing, performing, creating music, TV series, and films. They are the ones who are writing stories about their generation from their perspective on top of the cultural legacy they inherited. Let's pay attention to them. In this digital social media era, there are strong ecosystems for us to collaborate generationally, globally, and seamlessly move together. Let's make sure we build more roads for people to share their compassion, discipline, and humility. At the end of the day, no matter where we are from, no matter what language we speak, we are all part of one global community, and the stories we tell can help us navigate the roads together towards a more compassionate future. I want to thank all of you for your commitment to strengthening global citizenship and for recognizing that we are all in this together. 1 generation ago, Korea was destroyed by war. With the help of the global community, we grew from a country receiving aid from the UN and other countries to one that is now providing humanitarian resources and creating development efforts worldwide. We couldn't have done it without everybody's help. Thank you again for this honor, and to the Council for your vital role in fostering unity and understanding. Thank you.
Please welcome co-founder of the Atlantic Council Global Citizen Awards, Victor L.L. Chu.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, global citizenship means that we would reach beyond our day-to-day local responsibilities to service a common group for multi-stakeholders. In a complicated world that we live in, it is more important than ever that we all rise to the occasion to make sure that wherever possible, we try to rediscover the art of listening to others, to align interests so that we can find harmony and achieve so many solutions that today's technology will make it possible if there were genuine collaboration between different countries, different cultures, and different stakeholders. This evening, we are so delighted that we have 3 superstars to perform for us. They are 2 Korean superstars and 1 Japanese superstar. Tiger JK has been described by the Los Angeles Times as the most popular Korean rapper in America, Asia, and the world. His wife, Tasha, or Yumiri, has been described as the queen of Korean hip-hop. Yoshiki, originally from Japan, has been described as one of the most influential musician and composer in Japanese history. In fact, he is a worldwide phenomenon, and his popularity reached far beyond Japan and Asia. They have quite a few similarities amongst them. Of course, they're musicians, they are producers, but they're also entrepreneurs, and they are very active in humanitarian work. They do share the mission of the Atlantic Council and the aspirations of global citizenship. You will see in them the energy, the passion, and the dynamism that Asian performance is able to bring to the world. And hopefully, through their performance and the influence, we can bridge the culture between East and West and help to improve our understanding. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Yoichi, Tiger JK, and Tasha on stage.
My name is Tiger JK.
My name is Yunmire.
We come from South Korea representing peace, love, unity. And it's a tremendous honor to be here tonight. And we're discovered by Miky Lee. You know, back in Korea, nobody understood hip hop or felt that we recorded a song wrong because there's no melody.
We've come a long way.
All our albums will get banned because they thought that our album was recorded wrong. But Miss Lee discovered us and talked to us, and for some reason she gave us opportunity, and rest is history. When I say walk like, everybody say champion. Walk like, talk like. I can hear you. Walk like, champion. Talk like, champion. Walk like, talk like. Yeah, they're ready. Let me teach. Champion, talk like a champion. Hey yo, walk like a champion, talk like a champion. Come on, walk like a, talk like a. Come on, walk like a, talk like a. Yeah. Everybody come around, wanna see what I got. They always asking where I'm going, 'cause I blow up this vibe. Everybody come around, wanna see what I got. 종이 동아리로 더럽혀진 꽉바닥에 엎드러진 커피로 대충 닦아낸 장작의 노래 장작의 고뇌를 좁혀지는 노선전기 선날이같이 노래만 나들은 머릿속만 국간에서 있고 그들은 그저 들판으로 자유롭고 싶고 금토일월 화수목 인생은 드라마 이젠 놀랍진 않아 매일매일 끄떡거리는 연필심을 따라 Each one teach one love it up please Each one teach one love Special shout out to Miss Lee. We love you. We love you. You are our champion. We love you so much. Peace and love. Here we go. One more time. Y'all ready? Yo, walk like a champion. Talk like a. Walk like a. Talk like a. Come on. Walk like a. Talk like a. Walk like a. Talk like a. Everybody come around, wanna see what I got. They always asking where I'm going, 'cause I blow up this vibe. Everybody come around, wanna see what I got. It's when I rock upon the mic, I rock the mic. With the drum off, get a man up and step the F go. Walking in the jungle, Trump can, we about to set it off. Rude girl with a mouth like a trucker. Call me stuck up, you know, I don't give a fuck. 'Cause my flow's like, whoa, I got more soul. Talk ish, 'cause my pockets stay swollen. I kicks it dirty like the high down river. Flip your boat, whatever cross, like my name, run to the air. Everybody, get it for you, man. People mob on the top line. Yeah. Give it up for conductor Luke Fraser. And the American Pop Orchestra. Champion. Let's go, walk like a champion. Talk like a champion. Walk like a champion. Talk like a champion. Yo, walk like a, talk like a. Come on. Walk like a champion, talk like a champion. Give it up to yourself. Peace and love. Yeah, global citizens. One love. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the 2024 Atlantic Council Global Citizen Awards. We're thrilled you could join us to celebrate the incredible leadership of our 4 honorees. For more information on the Atlantic Council's work and its diverse programming, please visit atlanticcouncil.org. We hope to see you back in Washington, D.C. in the spring for the 2025 Atlantic Council Distinguished Leadership Awards. Until next time.